Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Leah Chang. I'm so excited to be chatting with Alex Sanchez, who has been nominated for a Lucille Lortel Award and a Drama Desk Award for co-choreographing the Gardens of Anuncia with Graciela, Daniele, and he's going to give me the whole 9 yards scoop. Welcome to the
Hi, Leah.
show,
Thank
Alex.
you. Gardens of Anuncia, musical written by Michael John LaChiusa. He wrote the book, he composed it, he did the lyrics, and originally wanted to do a musical about Grazi's life. And Grazi was opposed to the idea. She actually said, "I don't want to live my life over again." And so she says, however, if you want to do a story about me, why don't you do a story about the three women who raised me?
Okay.
That was her mother, her aunt, and her grandmother. And it basically takes place from the age of 7 until she leaves Argentina at 17 um, in Buenos Aires during the Perón regime, which was a really tumultuous period in Argentina. And it's basically the lessons that she learned from the three women that raised her. Her aunt, she attributes her aunt to giving her art, poetry, imagination. She attributes her mother to giving her strength. Her mother basically took the job of wearing the pants in the family and earning a living for to support her aunt and her grandmother as well. And from her grandmother, she got her passion. Her grandmother was a very passionate person. And what was interesting is that they all three were gardeners. They loved the garden. And
So that's where the gardens
yeah,
comes from.
and interesting, when Grazia was young, she was really interested at all in gardening until she got older and she bought a house out in New Hope, New Jersey. And she fell in love with her gardening, and all of a sudden it just became like this place of refuge and peace and tranquility for her. And I think it also helped connect with her, with these three women. How I got involved was so it was scheduled to be at the Oak Globe right before the pandemic hit, and unfortunately it got postponed because of the pandemic. But then when things started to open up, the Globe wanted to do it as their first production, and so Grazi called me about 4 months prior and told me about the show. Was giving me the hard sell, and I was like, "Why are you telling me this?" Because then finally she says, "I would love for you to co-choreograph the show for me. Um, I don't know if you'd be interested." And I'm just like, "Duh, yes, of course. Of course, I would do anything for her." And that's how I got involved. So I came on board, and I started my collaboration with her on that.
And what is your history with her?
I have a long history with Grazia. I met her in 1993 when I was in actually 94 when I was in the original cast of Carousel at Lincoln Center. It was a big revival that was done. We needed because Sir Kenneth Millen, who did the choreography, had passed away the year prior before it came to New York. And so choreologist that they hired set the ballet and also the prologue. Director wanted to change Judas Busting Out, which is one of the numbers in the show, and asked if Grazi would help doctor it. And so she came in, and she basically choreographed it and helped. She was the associate director at the time at Lincoln Center. So that's how I met her, and I was just astonished that this Latina, me being Puerto Rican, I was just so enamored by her grace and her intelligence and talent.
And I'm sure her elegance.
Oh my
too,
God.
Yes.
And so, we just hit it off really quick. And we kept in touch. I would audition for her for stuff. And finally, she cast me in a project, Chita Rivera, The Dancer's Life. And with my wife, actually, Lainey and I both did it. And what was very interesting is our collaboration was joyous. It was so much fun. Opening night of The Dancer's Life, I was warming up backstage, and she came up to me. She was, greeting everyone and wishing them a happy opening. And she looked at me straight in the eye, and she said, "You need to stop dancing and start choreographing."
Oh.
And so my immediate thought was, my God, I'm really dancing badly if she's asking me, telling me to choreograph. I didn't really understand why she would say that, but then she kind of saw my shock. I mean, I was absolutely shocked when she said that, and she explained, as to why she said that, and it did plant the seed, and it sort of allowed me to cultivate that. So that's our history. She was the one who really got me into choreography and directing. She's the one who pushed me into it.
So this is your second Lortel Award nomination?
Yeah, this is my second one. The first one I got was for Giant at the Public Theater, another Michael John LaChiusa show.
Oh.
That one was directed by Michael Greif, and
I loved Giant. It was so brilliant.
It was spectacular.
So
we were hoping that it would move.
And to see it in that particular theater, that scale of a musical was extraordinary.
Yeah, it was a really spectacular story and a spectacular production, for sure.
Is this your first Drama Desk Award nomination?
Yes. I have never been to a Drama Desk Award. I've never been nominated, so yes, this is my first one.
And where were you when you found out that you were nominated for a Drama Desk? What were you doing?
Well, it's funny. I went to the Poconos, and I was actually cutting the grass, and I felt my phone vibrate, and then I kind of looked at it, and I saw your text, and you said, "Congratulations." I'm like, "For what?" And so that's, so I turned off the mower, and I was like texting you, "Wow, what happened?" And then finally you told me, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" So that's how I found out about the Drama Desk Award. And then I looked online afterwards, after I finished cutting the grass, because it took me 2 hours to cut the grass. And it was just so thrilled. And I texted my wife, I need to tell her too. So.
What does it mean to you to be recognized for this particular show and in this collaboration?
God, I think there's, it means the world to me to be recognized by the theater community, and especially such a prestigious award as both the Lucille Lortel and Drama Desk. I think it just sort of makes me feel valid and in what I'm doing, and makes me feel more a part of the community. And there's, I think, no greater validation of that and feeling of love than to be recognized for your work.
Now, you're a veteran of 11 Broadway shows. As a performing artist, 10.
Yeah.
And the 11th was for Paradise Square.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to make the transition?
In terms of becoming a choreographer? Yeah.
And a director?
It took a while because I started late. I mean, when Grazie told me about this, most choreographers have already been choreographing shows by the time that I Grazie told me this. And so I was a late bloomer. I started small. I mean, basically, I started putting myself in situations where I was teaching artists. And as part of that, I became a staff member of Oakland School for the Arts in California. And the director there, they would do a fall performance and a spring performance for their dance concert. So he asked me if I would choreograph, and he also had a dance company and asked me if I would choreograph for his dance company. So I took these little jobs, and started cultivating my voice as a choreographer. Then my wife and I decided to move back to New York because we missed it after a 3-year hiatus. And so we came back to New York, and I applied for what they call Dance Break, which was like a showcase for choreographers that they did for many years. And a lot of people like Casey Nicola, my wife, many choreographers, Andy Blankfield, I remember, did that. There were a lot of choreographers that came out of that program, Lauren Lataro. And actually Grazie was there to see the performance, and she was incredibly gracious with her, salutations, shall we say, and congratulations. But anyways, from that, I was able to get an agent, and then I was starting to be pushed. I met Michael Greif, and I started to get these gigs at the Public, Williamstown, and step by step, I took every job that was offered to me. I did a lot of regional work. I did a lot of great theaters. I worked for a lot of wonderful theaters. By the time I got to the Old Globe, there was this opportunity with Paradise Square that came up, and again, it was Grazie who recommended me for it. And I knew the producer.
Would you kind of say that She is your guardian angel.
She is. She's my guardian angel. But also my wife is a mentor too. My wife is actually choreographing when I was still performing. She was the choreographer in the family, and at a very young age, she was choreographing. I was assisting her, and so um, between Grazie and Lainey, I had some really great mentorship and feedback. And certainly Grazie has been someone that has pushed me to meet people that have given me these opportunities with these theaters and these shows. So I've always been a closet dancer. I've loved dancing ever since I was a little boy, and being from a traditional Puerto Rican family, it was something that was frowned upon. Boys don't dance, boys don't wear tights, boys don't do this. Um, so I kept it all inside. When I was in high school, I participated in my high school plays and musicals where I met my music director, who saw in me a dancer and said, "You should take dance classes." And he introduced me to a person that he worked with. It was the June Rule School of Dance. And I was 16 years old. And so I went every Tuesday and Thursday after school. I would drive, and I kept it from my parents. I didn't tell my parents. I did this for 2 years. I got away with it for 2 years. My parents thought that I was out working, which sometimes I was. But I was able to take ballet, jazz, tap. It was like a great introductory to it. Then a year later, I had an opportunity. I received a scholarship from Harvard Street Dance Company, Lou Conti Dance Studio, and participated. I quit school so that I can uh, train in the scholarship. And I told my parents, and my mother was devastated. She was crying. She thought I was going to ruin my life. And so I ended up, moving out and doing this training. And I trained there for a year. And then that led to my passion for ballet, which is then at the Ruth Page Foundation, and I trained there. And you have to understand, when I decided to do the training, I took like 18 classes a week. I did 2 ballet classes every day, 6 days a week, and then I would take a jazz class or a tap class to supplement that. And I did this for 3 years. Even at the Ballet Academy, I would actually take 3 ballet classes a day at Ruth Page.
But this is what passion is about, right?
Yeah, I was incredibly passionate. Plus I was working 3 jobs. I was making pizza for Eduardo's Pizza. I was driving for
Domino's.
Domino's Pizza. Thank you. And then I was working at a pharmacy, delivering pharmaceutical drugs, to these hospitals and things of that nature. So I loved it. I was in love with it. I was happy. I was not sad about it. I was exhausted all the time. But at the end of the 3 years, I was invited by the artistic director of Ballet Chicago to join the company. And that's when I started my track into the professional realm.
And you also said that you did a little moonlighting.
Yeah, well, when I was in Chicago, so I was dancing with Ballet Chicago, but we were only contracted 36 weeks out of the year. So I had to fulfill the other weeks with work. And I did. I auditioned for shows. I did West Side Story at the Marriott Theater, Sweet Charity at Candlelight, and I worked at Drury Lane Oakbrook doing Music Man and MAME. And I started my sort of career as a musical theater artist and was doing both. I was doing ballet when I was with the company, and then I was moonlighting in musicals. I have a email that I send out, an email blast of dancers that I've worked with. And every Wednesday, like from 11 to 1, I teach a 2-hour theater jazz class, and it's a pretty intense class. And it's, for dancers who really want to work hard, really want a class that is not performative. No, we don't film, we don't do anything. We grind it out like a class is supposed to be. We work hard on the technique. I do a lot of calisthenic work. I do a lot of core work. I do stretches. We dance. We do across the floor. We do a combination. And it's just a really nice place that's safe, where you can fall, where you could fail, where you could, not pick up the combination, but keep trying. It's just for you to cultivate and keep maintaining and working on your craft. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Leah Chang, and good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.